welcome back. Your dreams were your ticket out. Welcome back to that same old place that you laughed about. Well, the names have all changed since you hung around, but those dreams have remained and they've turned around. Who'd have thought they'd lead ya? Who'd have thought they'd lead ya? Back here where we need ya. Back here where we need ya. Yeah, we tease him a lot, 'cause we got him on the spot. Welcome back. 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 We always could spot a friend. Welcome back. And I smile when I think how it must have been. And I know what a scene you were learning in. Was there something that made you come back again? And what could ever lead you? What could ever lead you? Back here where we need you. Back here where we need you. Yeah, we tease him a lot, 'cause we got him on the spot. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Yeah, we tease him a lot. Welcome back. Welcome back. 'Cause we got him on the spot. Welcome back. Welcome back. Yeah, we tease him a lot. 'Cause we got him on the spot. Welcome back. 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 Welcome back.
And welcome to a new episode of Straight Talk with Joe Vollano. It is great to have you all here today. It is a new year. It is full of new opportunities. I am excited to be here today. We have a lot going on. Obviously, I'm sure some have heard by reading the comments over the week. A lot has gone on in the city, and I don't want to say I was floored. I guess I was surprised by a lot going on this week. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's go through our formalities first. I am your host, your guiding light, Joe Vollano. I am so happy, like I said, to be here. It is a new year, 2024. 2023 felt like it just absolutely just flew by. And I believe 2024 is going to be one for the storybooks by the time we are all said and done. But this is the first show of the new year, so you know how this works. This show only works best when we are all engaged with each other. If you want to call in, 203-805-2520. And, of course, you can always email us, straighttalkjv@gmail.com. And we have plenty of emails to go through if we can get that far. And, of course, if you're on the platforms, TikTok, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, we're on all of them. Feel free to jump on the chat. It is always up and running, so please, by all means, do so. I want to hear what you guys have to say because we have a lot more to discuss. And, you know, like I said when we started the show, and, of course, I hope if everyone doesn't know where that opening song was from, welcome back, Cotter. Obviously, it's multifaceted for today, for this show, which is why I chose it. And you won't believe how much that song, that 2-minute and 3-second song, cost me. You won't believe it. It's absolutely crazy what copyright songs are going for. But it is what it is. It was too good. It fit too well for me not to play it tonight. Because like I said, not only is it a new year, but as we go through the show, you'll understand why we go through that way. Okay, so I know somebody, if that was somebody calling in, we're gonna kind of wait for phone calls for a couple minutes because we do have some stuff to get through that I really want to get through. And then we'll, by all means, we'll get to your phone calls. I was stunned this week. I was stunned this week to realize how many people don't understand two things. I don't understand how two things. One, most people don't know what a caucus is. And two, most people don't know what the town committees do. Those two things absolutely blew my mind this week. So in case some of you don't know, obviously most of you should, Democrats and Republicans both held their caucuses. Every 2 years, the local town committees are reelected. And so this year happens to be that year. So what happens is they do what's called a caucus. The caucus is open to any registered Democrat for their respective side, Republican for our respective side. And every 2 years they get together. So, and I'll go by our side. Since I'm a Republican, I'll talk about our side. So Republicans get together every 2 years, and we nominate a slate of 40 people that Republicans want to represent them for the next 2 years. So that happened here this past week. Now, I was privileged enough, and I was honored enough to be asked to chair the Republican caucus this year. And I was more than happy to do so. Obviously, there's been a lot of contention over the last few months between some in the party. Obviously, that's well documented. And my only responsibility and ambition was to make sure it was a fair caucus and that everybody's voice was heard. So I was honored to do that. Now, that being said, obviously the Democrat one went off, pretty familiar, pretty straightforward how it was going to be. I mean, they had their 40. The Republican side, they had two different slates that were battling each other. And you know what? And that's great. And that is great. I know most people sit there and say, well, it's chaos. It could cause chaos. It could cause this, could cause that. I don't think so. And, I always say it. I always like good debate back and forth. Not everybody and every side is going to be right. And that's why caucuses exist. This is why we sit there and we re-elect town committee members every 2 years. So, like I said, obviously the Republican one's a little bit more contentious, but it was done in a very respectful way. I don't think anyone could deny that, we went through the process and it played out, the way the members that were there wanted it. Now, again, the caucus is an opportunity to give all Republicans. It was open to all Republicans in the city. And 108 of them showed up, which, again, if you know anything about caucuses, that's amazing. That's a great turnout. Normally, your turnout for a caucus, from everything that I've seen throughout the years, you're lucky if you get the 40 people to show up. So this last caucus was 108. So that was pretty damn good. And I appreciate everyone that came out to have their voices heard and to lend their voice to where they see the party going. And that's really what a caucus is. It really does show you where people want to see the party go. And like I said, well documented over the last couple of months that there has been a tug of war, to say, on which way people wanted to see the party go. But the people finally had their say, and they chose to go a different route than what was there now. And that being said, leads me to the point of, so I guess I don't want to get too ahead. So here's how the whole thing plays out. For those of you who don't know, because this is really important, because this should have been taught back in like 3rd, 4th grade in any civics class in high school. So the fact that most people don't know about this, including adults that should know this stuff, it was mind-blowing to me. So basically what happens is the chairperson, myself, that as I was chair, I opened the floor to nominations. The current RTC put forth their slate. Elaine, and then when I asked for more, if there were any others, Elaine Curiotti and her group put forth their 40 names. And then it goes to the 108 people, Republicans that are there. And they could pick one slate, they could pick the other slate, or they could mix and match. And all that was on the table. And the people had their say. There was 11 for one side, 62 for the other, and then there was 35 that split their vote between the two different slates. So let me repeat that again. So 108 people got their ballots. 11 people picked the current RTC. 62 people picked Elaine Cariotti's slate. 35 people split their vote. So they took some of the current and some of the new. And that's the way this system is supposed to work. People should embrace that. So who runs the show to March? So until March, the current RTC is in place. So right now, only thing that comes out of a caucus is an endorsed slate. So Elaine Cariotti and her group won with 62 votes. That means that they are now the endorsed slate moving forward. Now, those that lost the caucus do have an option. They do have an option to primary. In order to primary, they need to get 10 members and 240 something signatures. Now, normally I'd be like, people have heard me say it before on this show. I'm all for primaries. I love the debate and stuff like that. But I kind of say no to this when you're talking about a town committee. Because a town committee, really, they don't have any power in the city. They're pretty much just, and we'll get into what town committee jobs are, because that's another thing that was mind-blowing to me, that people don't know what the town committee is supposed to do. So in order to have a primary, like I said, they would need 10 members, 10 people, plus 240 something signatures. The problem I have with it is it would cost the city, $30,000. Because if there is a primary for the town committee, you have to have absentee ballots. You have to have, all of the locations open. You would have to have all these things in place. And it costs, from what the state and the city has told us, it would cost $30,000 to run a primary. Now, for us on the Republican side, who are always sit there screaming about, watching the budget and, spending the taxpayers' money wisely, this is definitely not a way of, I'm a little high here. Sorry if I'm yelling at you guys in there. This is not a good way of spending money. Now, is it their right? Yes. But they also need to be prepared if they do want a primary. They need to be prepared to answer the question on why they're willing to spend $30,000 of taxpayers' money on a position that, one, is voluntary, two, doesn't really have much power, and three, it's a simple committee that really shouldn't be primaried. So that's my opinion. So that is definitely my opinion. Other people may have their own opinion, and again, that's their right to do so. So between January 17th and January 31st is when individuals would be able to submit paperwork for primary. They can't start it until the 17th. And if they don't have their signatures and their group in by the 31st, then it's null and void. So after that, okay, let's say there is a primary. The primary will be the first Tuesday of March. That is when the primary would be held if there is one. If there is not one, or even if there is one, the new talent committee takes control on the first Monday after the primary. So let's see. I want to have dates here. So if there was a primary, the primary would be held on March 5th. If there is a primary. After the primary date, the elected town committee would take effect March 11th, which is the first Monday after the primary. So on March 11th is when the new town committee takes effect. So if everything stays exactly the way it is and there is no primary, the new town committee would still take effect on March 11th. So to Margaret's question, so who runs the show till March? It would be still Lou Arata, since he is the current chair of the RTC. He would still oversee everything until March 11th. And then the new committee would come in place. Obviously, once the primary is done and once the new committee takes place, they have 14 days to have their first meeting and to elect officers. So, again, and I'm just going to do it on the current situation now. So Elaine Carriotti's group, who won, they take over March 11th. They would have 2 weeks from there to meet and have a vote on their officers. And to start the show, normally would be the chair, but since the chair is not there, it would default to the most ranking member, and that would be Guy Beeman, who is the former chair of the RTC. So he would actually conduct the first meeting and immediately look to fill for a new chair. Who the new chair will be, I mean, it's obviously up to the town committee, the new town committee. When the new town committee meet, they will pick one of those 40 members that won, and they would pick a new chair. So that's the way a caucus goes, and that's the whole process of the caucus and of the nominating section of a town committee. Now, what does a town committee do? Who should be on the town committee? Those are two questions that have really blew my mind that people just don't know. So I want to break this down because, again, I think there's a lot of false information going out there. I think there's a lot of people that are yapping in people's ears that are spreading false information that some are starting to believe. Now, the purpose of the town committee is a couple different things. what the town committee is basically a farm team. If we compare it to baseball, because most people understand baseball, there's a major leagues and there's a minor leagues. Your town committee is the minor league. It is the farm team. Farm teams are designed to do three things: find prospective talent, i.e., members, possible candidates. They're to cultivate new candidates. That means they're there to mold them to be good candidates, to be good elected officials. And three is to provide oversight. To provide oversight for elected officials that have a Republican title. And we're going to go through each one of those because it's very, very important about what's going on here. So the number one job is to cultivate new talent. Bring in new blood. And again, lover or hater, Elaine Cariotti has done that. She's done that. For the first time over the last 2 years, under Elaine Cariotti's leadership, we had a full 40 roster, we had a full 10-member associate, and we had people waiting in the wings. That's unheard of on the Republican side. And because of that, for decades, we haven't been able to get the 40 members. Now, I know even some counselors are very upset that they were not brought on the 40 group. Some were very upset, and I regret that. Because I don't think that was anybody's motive to sit there and try to personally offend anybody. But elected officials, listen, the Democrats don't have any elected officials on there. They haven't needed it because they've always had 40 members within the community to serve on the board, on their town committee. And after they get elected, they move on. So again, going back to the baseball reference, you start in the minor leagues. You're cultivated. You're groomed for elections. When you are elected, you move on to the major leagues, which is city council. You have your vote there. No baseball player plays in the major leagues and plays a minor league game at the same time. It's just doesn't work that way. There's no reason for it. Now, this time, Elaine Cariotti put together a group of 40, and none of them are elected officials. That's great. I mean, people should be ecstatic about that if you're a Republican, because that is the first time in over a decade that we've had that many Republicans excited about joining the town committee. That is wonderful news. And I would think those that are elected officials would be ecstatic about that also, because it takes one thing less off their plate. Now, is that to say that elected officials should not be coming to meetings? No, of course you should be. And people need to remember there are three types of people at a town committee. There is the members who can talk or could join in on any discussion. There are guests. So if you're a Republican but not on the town committee, you are a guest. You are considered a guest, and you can have your 3 to 5 minutes at the beginning of the meeting to sit there and speak your piece. And 3, there's elected officials. Now, elected officials do have a special role in a town committee, and this is something I think has been overlooked. When you're an elected official, you are not a guest. You don't just have 3 minutes to say your piece and then you got to sit there and be quiet. Every elected official has the right to join in on any discussion going on during the town committee meeting. Now, the one thing you don't have is a vote. You do not have a vote. But you are more than welcome to join in on any discussion. Because your point of view and the information you might have being up at City Hall could be very useful to the town committee. And we want you to share that. Now, there's one more thing that they still have. And again, this really, really needs to be stressed because, again, I think some feel that it was a personal slight against them, which I swear to God it wasn't. But they still have a spot on the executive board. Dan Brunet, who is the minority leader, still has a spot on the executive board. Robert Kaczynski, as the chair of the Board of Ed, still has a spot on the executive board. Now, again, they don't have voting privileges, but they are definitely not held out to the side. They are definitely not thrown to the side because they're not on the town committee. The town committee is meant for regular Republicans to come and help support the work that the council wants to do. And vice versa. The council should be there to help pass an agenda that Republicans at the town committee want. It's a give and take. It's not one side has more power than the other. We work together. And there's another reason why normally elected officials are not on the town committees. And this is the one I think that most from the comments I've seen is the one they don't like the most. And that's because the town committees provide oversight. And if anyone's watched this show over the last couple of months, oversight has been happening. And some on city council don't like it. But remember, one of the most important jobs the town committee has to do is nominate candidates. Identify and nominate candidates. That's their job. Now, again, some council people don't like that. They think that the town committee works for them. No, they don't. Just like you don't work for the town committee, you work for all Republicans and all citizens of Meriden. But being an elected Republican, yes, the town committee does expect that elected Republicans act like Republicans. And there will be times, I'm sure, that privately, Republicans on the town committee will question elected Republicans on why they're doing what they're doing. And if you don't like accountability, I'm sorry. Just like every Republican holds the town committee accountable. And you saw that. You saw that during the caucus. Republicans came out and held the current RTC accountable. That's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Now, I've reached out to Dan Brunet, and me and him had an exchange today, which was very pleasant and very, very encouraging. And I thank him for it, because there is a lot of tension still, and it doesn't need to be there. It doesn't. So it is amazing to me that this kind of stuff is not known. But I'm hoping that right here tonight, we're putting it out there. So for any elected official that feels snubbed, that feels disrespected, that is not the case. And I tell you what, I feel sorry that you feel that way. And again, I've reached out to every counselor so far, other than one. I've reached out. I've reached out to members that were not selected because we didn't know who their slate was. The current RTC, we didn't know who was on their slate. They have some good candidates on their side. Some excellent candidates, or excellent members. And I had conversations with some of them. And we're eager to get some of them over and back on to the RTC on with the new committee. And some of them have already accepted that invitation to come back. So while there may seem to be a divide, there really isn't. There's only going to be a divide if certain people want there to be a divide. I am on the town committee now. Well, let me rephrase that. I have been endorsed to go back on the town committee, which again is the Welcome Back Cotter. So I'm excited to come back on to the RTC and help bring this Republicans together. I'm excited to move this committee, the Republicans and the city forward in a positive way. I can't wait. But there was one thing that the reason why I left, and well, I didn't even leave. The reason why I didn't go for re-election 2 years ago was because there is a standing rule. You are not allowed to attack publicly another member without going through the proper channels. And I went through the proper channels, and everyone remembers this 2.5 years ago. I went through the proper channels, and we had disagreements with some council. I had disagreements with counselors. Some we worked it out with, others we didn't. Having no elected officials on the ticket, on the town committee, alleviates that issue. It alleviates that issue. Now, again, I am a firm believer in taking care of our own things internally. I'm a firm believer in that. Sometimes it doesn't happen. But with this new committee, I think it's going to be much easier to do so. And with good communication back and forth, I think the Republican Party is going to be stronger than ever. We have 40 people that are geared up, ready to go. And what are they ready to do? They're ready to go find new members. They're ready to fundraise. They're ready for outreach. There's a lot of exciting things that are going to be happening this year in the Republican Party. There's going to be a lot of great things happening. The Republican Party is going to be on the offensive this year. The Republican Party and the town committee is going to be setting a trail forward to bring more Republicans to the party and to bring more constituents to the voting booths, to bring more diversity to our town committee and to our ranks. We are going to be doing a lot of outreach this year. We're going to be going to places where you normally would never think Republicans are going to go. We're going to be at churches. We're going to be at community rooms. We're going to be at all sorts of different meetings that you normally don't see us. We're going to be doing a lot. We're going to be working hand in hand with our counselors. Again, me and Dan Burnett already had a good conversation today. And I look forward to our conversations next week, which will be private, obviously. Again, I've already had great communication with some members on the other side that are coming back. But all the nonsense got to stop. Because we're all on the same team. And I think if everyone just takes a pause, takes a deep breath, and pick up the phone and call. If you're feeling slighted, call. I've already reached out. Feel free to call anytime. Offline, not on here. Those conversations are private conversations. Anything I have, any conversation I have with individuals are private conversations. But all the wonderful things I see coming, the wonderful things I see that are in store for this city, and I think people are going to be pleasantly surprised. Listen, in March, there will be a new chair picked. I'm excited about it. You know, whoever it is, whoever they decide to go with. Obviously, my role as of right now is to help bring everyone together in the Republican side, because there's plenty of things that we could go after Democrats for. But we can't do that while we're divided with each other. That's just not the way it works. So I am extremely excited about it. But that is the most important thing I wanted to talk about tonight. Is that just because elected officials aren't on our town committee does not mean they've been shunned. Like I said, Democrats forever have never had. Right, like I said, I messaged you the private conversation between us, Ray. And you tell me where and when. Or if you just want to do a phone call. It's totally, again, for you, and again, private conversation. We're not going to get into anything on here. Other than to say that I love you. And at no time did anyone want to disrespect you. Just to put that out there to the public. That at no time. Ray has been an exceptional Republican. And he has been a strong voice for Republicans up at City Hall. So, and I wish I could say that about all of them, but I can't. And that's not new news to anybody on how I feel. But again, also another thing you got to remember. No one person runs anything. No one person runs anything in the town committees. There are 40 people. There are 40 people that will have a say. You know, I heard for months some call Elaine a dictator. The most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Everything went through executive committee. Everything went through the town committee. Everything was voted on. The same thing will happen going forward. Yes, will I be on the town committee? Absolutely. And I look forward to being back. But I am just one voice. There will be 39 others. And as in previous years, listen, I've turned around and I said, I don't agree with this. I don't like this. I want that. And it just doesn't happen. And I've been outvoted. Do you know what I do? I say congratulations to those that won and we move on. We move on. You're not going to win every battle. But one thing in politics you cannot do, and I stress this, anytime someone says, hey, I want to get into politics, or I want to do this, I want to do that in the public, I tell them the same thing. If I can give you one piece of advice, don't take anything personally. Do not take it personally. It's politics. It's politics. Politics is a dirty, nasty game. I've been saying that for years from behind this microphone. But never once have I ever taken anything personally. We could agree to disagree. That is good for a party. A party that is 100% in agreement on everything is doomed for failure. You have to have competing views that are debated and negotiated in town committees with each other. And again, sometimes I won some, a lot of the times I lost them. But we turn around, we respect the vote, we respect the committee, and we move on. And we move on together. That's how parties succeed. That's how we move forward stronger. The minute you start taking things personally, you let your emotions take over. And we can't make decisions based on emotion. That's the Democrats' jobs. They love doing that. Democrats love to vote based on emotion. Republicans, I believe, are proud to look at things logically, realistically, and look at the facts and make a determined their determination on how the things move forward based on facts and not emotions. And I think over the next week, after all these conversations are had, I think you're going to see a hell of a Republican Party moving forward. And if I was a Democrat, I'd be scared shitless. Because for the first time in over 10 years, because that's 10 years since I've been here, Republicans are coming out of the woodwork. Sue Flynn, who is the Republican registrar, will tell you how many people came and went from a U to an R, went from D's to an R. That is great news for Republicans. Horrible news for Democrats. I can't wait to get started. I can't wait to get started to let this new committee start running wild and start bringing people in. And listen, Paul, I think we're going to get them to the polls. We're going to get them to the polls. And, even when they sit there and say, bad news is, bad press is still great press? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. What did YouTube just recommend? YouTube just recommended you to the best show on YouTube. That's what it did. So Toasty AF, that is what YouTube has recommended for you. We're here talking about how we bring a party together to move forward to kick some Democrat ass. That's what you just got recommended. It's time for us to change this city red. And that's what this town committee is committed to doing. I believe that's what our city councilors are committed to doing. And I can't wait to work together to get it done. Listen, Dan, we're not going to get into that. Those are conversations not for here. And again, Dan Bernay, is showing leadership. And, like I said, emotions are still a little high. And that's going to take time to kind of just settle down. You can't expect it to happen overnight. But we'll get there. So that's what town committees are for. That's what a town committee is meant to do. It is to be a farm team. The minor leagues. And our job is to graduate as many of them to the major leagues as possible. That's the goal. So, all right. So now if you have questions, we'll take some phone calls. So I apologize to whoever the two people were that called in. I wanted to go through all this first before we got into phone calls. So now if you want to call in, we could go ahead and call in. And then we will also take a couple of your emails. Guys, I tried to stay up with your comments. But I'm sorry. I wasn't able to. I'm just going to read them through real quick. Listen, I think the new chairperson, will definitely have an uphill battle. Because again, there is a lot to it. And listen, it's one of the reasons why I never, even though it was offered many times to be chair, I never wanted it. The chair is a unique individual. The chair needs to be diplomatic. Most people know. I mean, I can play diplomat. Hell, I've been trying to do it all week. But I mean, I'm more of an unplugged, uncensored kind of guy. And you guys watched this show for the last 3.5 years. Can you believe it's almost been 3.5 years since we've been doing this show? It's absolutely it's crazy. So, but it is. But I think the next town committee chair, I think is going to do an amazing job. I think I have a couple people in mind that I think would do pretty well. But I won't get into that on here. I'll have private conversations with who I feel should be in the officers' positions. Would I take it if asked? Yeah. I think this is, listen, for me, coming back, listen, I got out because of squabbles with certain counselors that I don't believe were acting in a Republican way. And I've been very frank about that. But there has been some good stuff done over the last couple of years. I still think there are some issues, but listen, I have good relations with Dan. Me and Dan Brunei do not see eye to eye on some things, but at the end of the day, and I've said this here before, Dan Brunei is willing to talk. Dan Brunei is willing to talk and have respectful conversations, and me and him have had it many a times in the past. So I respect that from Dan. I've never had an issue with some of the others. Obviously, my issues with Carabetta are well documented, and nothing's changed there. It did hurt me that others felt slighted, which again was not the case, and I there would be no reason for that. But Joe Vollano, yes, listen, I love the fact that my boy has joined the MRTC. I am ecstatic about it. He's excited about it. There he is. Hi, Craig. I'm excited about it. Every single member should be able to voice it. Absolutely, Rob. And again, and that's what we encourage. If you're not willing to voice your opinion, then there's no real point of you being on a town committee or any organization. If you're not willing to voice your opinion, what are you doing there? You're just enjoying a social hour. We have a lot of new worker bees that are willing to do the work on behalf of candidates, the party, and our council people. And we're going to encourage our council people. If you need us to do something, just ask. If you know there's an important vote coming up, you know there's an important issue coming up, damn well ask. Just tell us, say, hey, town committee, we need to do this, or we need your help with this. We're there. That's our job. That is our job as a town committee. And I hope every single counselor still continues to go to every single meeting. Go to every single meeting and have your voice heard. Again, your voice will never be stifled at town committee meeting. You have a right to discuss any topic you want that comes up. You just don't get a vote, that's all. But we have 40 people that are looking to take a little bit more stress off of your life. Our counselors should not have to worry about fundraising. Should you attend our fundraisers? Yes. Should you have to worry about setting them up, organizing them, doing all that kind of stuff? No. For outreach events, when we do outreach events, do we need you guys to come with us? Yes, you're the face of the party. Our elected officials are the face of the party. So we do need, again, when you're asking things from us, we're going to be asking things of you. We need you guys to come to our outreach programs and our outreach events so people can meet you. So it is going to be a give and take. But there will be no issues between us or any rifts between the two sides. That I won't allow. And I'm hoping Mr. Brunei is committed to the same thing. So what would you suggest to do in order to be informed as a voter and town committee member? Okay, so that's a great question, Joseph. So what would you suggest to do in order to be an informed as a voter and town committee member? Well, first things first is you should be coming to meetings, because we're going to have a couple of standing committees that are going to inform you. If you can't get to the city council meetings, we're going to have a committee that goes to everyone that's going to come and brief everybody on what's going on. Obviously, I'm going to tell you to read the papers, read the internet, and see what's going on in your town, in the city. I'm going to tell you to come here and come to Straight Talk. We're going to come here to Straight Talk, and you're going to get the facts of what's going on. Our Republican page is going to be totally revamped. I think people are going to be pleasantly surprised at the amount of information outreach we're going to use digitally. And these are things that we've talked about, that have already been talked about. You know, Elaine, it's not like I like, trust me, I don't like tooting Elaine's horn, because I don't want her getting too big of a head on me. But, you know, under her leadership, we did do a lot of outreach that's groups that we've never done before. And we did some digital stuff that we haven't done before. And again, she's proven once again, if you came to the caucus, you'd understand what I'm talking about. You would understand that her ability to get people out the door and to these meetings and to these caucuses is unrivaled to anyone I've seen so far. She gets shit done. Love her or hate her, you can't deny that. Love her or hate her, you can't deny she's the best fundraiser I've ever seen. And now, listen, I also have my issues with Elaine. The way this whole thing unfolded 3 months ago or 2 months ago. I don't like the way it unfolded. I don't like the way it was handled. But it is what it is, and now we're here. Dan, I need to get you more people at city council meetings. Obviously, I bowl on Monday, so it's tough. Thanks a lot, Ed McCarthy, wherever you are. But after that's said and done, I'm going to start heading back to the city council meetings. Everyone just needs to do their part. So, Joseph, when you ask how can you be a better citizen, a better voter, a better town committee member, being involved and getting out there and attending these meetings, again, going on social media, finding out what's going on in the community, being part of the community, joining on some of the committees outside the city committees. Like I'm on a tax appeal. So getting into that kind of stuff really helps. So, but as we wrap this up, listen, the most important thing I want anyone to take out of what happened at that caucus and where the party is going is that, one, we have a great town committee that's coming on in March. If it stays the way it is, we got a great town committee coming on, full of energy, full of great ideas. We have a great city councilor for most part that's doing an amazing job. We're going to work hand in hand together. We're going to be there to make your lives a little easier. And we're going to ask you to do the same. And together, working together, we're hopefully going to do some amazing things. So have faith. For those who I have sent text messages to, emails to, voicemails to, respond. I look forward to talking with you. And we'll meet again here in a couple weeks. We're going to do one every other week. I don't think there's really necessary to do one every week right now. If anyone saw the new Record Journal page, if any of the Record Journal people are watching, because I know some of you do watch, please fix that friggin' website. That website sucks. Your new website is absolutely horrible. So, I don't know. I sat there and tried navigating it for like 10 minutes tonight. I'm like, where the hell is all the Meriden stuff? And it's just no way of easily finding it anymore. So, but it is what it is. So if you're from the Record Journal, get the crap back to the way it was. Make it easier for everybody. Okay, so until next time, and I'm going to play this song. Listen, this song cost me over $100 tonight. So I'm going to play it one more time all the way through. So, again, welcome back to a new year, 2024. Time to kick some ass. And I'm welcoming myself back to the world of town committees. So I'm excited about it. So until not next Sunday, so the 28th is our next show. And I'm supposed to make sure I put a post out there. So until the 28th, 2 weeks from now, God bless you. God bless this amazing city of ours. For Republicans, God bless our great party. And of course, as always, God bless our great country. Guys, until next time, I love each and every one of you. So until next time, I will see you later.
Welcome back. Your dreams were your ticket out. Welcome back to that same old place that you laughed about. Well, the names have all changed since you hung around, but those dreams have remained and they've turned around. Who'd have thought they'd lead ya? Who'd have thought they'd lead ya? Back here where we need ya. Back here where we need ya. Yeah, they tease him a lot, 'cause we got him on the spot. Welcome back. 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 We always could spot a friend. Welcome back. And I smile when I think how you must have been. And I know what a scene you were learning in. Was there something that made you come back again? And what could ever lead you